It's Wednesday, middle of the week. And for some of us, it's been a great week. For others, it's been difficult and painful. Not exactly sure where you are right now. But I know that that is the way that weeks tend to go. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're painful, sometimes they're filled with joy, others sorrow. That's the stuff of life. It's never easy. There is difficulty and pain. You and I, we know this if we're honest. So, how do we deal with it? That's the question. Well, many of us try and deal with it on our own. We assume that we've got the strength to do it ourselves, that we can handle it. We'll just man up and that's it. We'll deal with this trouble, whatever it is. But we don't do this on our own very well. When we try and do it on our own, we end up often creating more problems than we solve. Adam wasn't any good alone. He needed a helpmate. Someone to come alongside and be his partner in life. So God created Eve. It is a very simple story in many regards, but it has deep impact and meaning. It wasn't good for man to be alone. Solitude is nice, especially for those of us who are introverts. We love it. But at the end of the day, we still need to be connected to others. And we all are connected, whether we realize it or not. Dorotheus, a desert father, 4th century, the Common Era, talked about our interconnectedness with each other and with God in very elegant terms. He used geometry to explain our sense of interconnectedness. Now, I'm going to dumb it down real quick because I don't do geometry real well. So I'm going to tell it to you like this. Described it like a wagon wheel. Center of the wagon wheel, there's a hub. Radiating out from that hub are spokes. And essentially, you and I, we live our lives in the spokes. As we draw closer to God, who is the hub, something happens. You and I, we have to connect a little more closely with those beside us to get closer to God. And as we draw closer to God, we draw closer to each other. The way that we live is in a web of relationships. As we get to the center, we draw closer to God. That's the way this works. But as we draw closer to God, we draw closer to each other as well. But you see, if we withdraw from someone, if we're suffering from a broken relationship, then that means we're pulling away from them. And in order to get away from them, we move back in our spoke. And as we move away from that person with whom we now have a broken relationship, we're also moving away from the center, which is Christ. Broken relationships affect not just our interpersonal relationship with one person, but all of our webs of relationships, including a relationship with God. So friends, this week, if you are feeling disconnected, make an intentional effort to reconnect with those around you. Spend some time with a friend. Enjoy time with your family. Engage socially with those around you. Draw closer. And in doing so, you also draw closer to God. I know it sounds way too simple. But brothers and sisters, this whole thing of faith is never meant to be overly complex. Jesus said, after all, the two greatest commandments are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. There's nothing complicated in that. Oh, it's hard to do, yes. I'm not saying it's easy to love everybody like we love ourselves. But in its basic understanding, it's simple. There's not a lot of complex ritual. It's pretty straightforward. Love God, love each other. When we love each other, we draw closer. And in drawing closer to each other, we also draw closer to God. Have a great week. I'll see you on Sunday. I look forward to sharing with you in the bread and the cup, the meal of fellowship, and the washing of feet.